more check.
Testing.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, man. All right, let's bring it in. You know how we do. Don't stop. Don't do that. You know how we do it, yo. Episode 98. MIC podcast, man. Community, content. You get it all here, man. And our guest today is a podcast host, a owner of Zoolander. Today I have the one and only Devyn Zoolander in the fucking building, brother. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, bro. Thank you so much for coming through, man.
Jewelry, man.
Bro, so, man, funny enough, man, me and, the homie Mike, you know what I mean? Right. We went to the Little Italy Festival.
Okay.
And, you know what I mean? So, like, and there was this jeweler where he just got some of his favorite rings ever, and the moment we touched down there, he darted to we darted to the booth immediately.
Yeah.
It's just like, yo, I was here 2-3 years ago, caught some of my favorite rings there, I just, want to see what y'all got. Like, I'm in the market for some new pieces, and, we just hit there yesterday. I got this and this leather bracelet right here, so definitely added some dope shit to the collection.
Like that spiritual drip.
Yeah, right, yeah. Physical drip, the one with self-drip, right? Yeah. For real, nah, man. But bro, thank you so much for coming through, man. Thank you for reaching out and wanting to be here, bro.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. I love what y'all do, and I like some of the people that you've had on.
Definitely.
Like I definitely saw Keep Pittsburgh Dope.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, bro, yeah, Chance, bro.
Yeah, I definitely am a fan of his work. I also saw. That's why.
Yeah,
because I was looking at them
facts. Yeah,
I was like,
bro.
why?
Gotta keep it right here, yeah.
Part of it is because I was looking at it, I was like, part of them are really big and then
right.
He's small. It's like, hold on, I want that small.
Who's the smaller way? Who's doing that?
Yeah, damn sure ain't me. Anyway, also I saw that you had Sidney Davis.
Yeah, for sure.
Artist Talk Pittsburgh.
Yep.
So I saw that too, and that was really cool that you give people an opportunity to talk about what they do.
Hell yeah, no, bro. I mean, and those were two great guests, man. Two great conversations, but. Now we're here with Devyn Zoolander.
Absolutely. Let's get to the main.
So let's get to the get-to, right?
Yeah.
So, bro, are you where are you from originally? Is it from Pittsburgh or are you from?
Nah.
Outside of Pittsburgh?
Let me get one thing straight here. So here are my city pronouns, dog. Here's how it goes. I'm located in Pittsburgh, right, but I identify as Philadelphia.
Okay, all right.
Born and raised in Philly from age 1 to 23.
Okay.
Then I came out here at 23 back in 2009. Dating myself, but it's all good. went to grad school at Pitt, did some jobs working with kids, working with some badass kids, and now I'm just still here in Pittsburgh. Just turned 37 recently.
There you go, nice, bro. So having those two dichotomies of the same state, because I mean, you pretty much just grew up in the two major states in Pennsylvania.
Absolutely.
So I mean, how is it being a Philly cat? Just pretty much spending your formative years in Philly and then spending your adult life in Pittsburgh?
Well, I think that, first of all, I love Philly, but I think that sometimes I romanticize it because of nostalgia. I wonder if my mic is as loud as yours.
I think maybe. I don't know. I have a very boisterous voice as well.
But you see the difference though, because I don't know if that's...
Well, no. Yours look good there.
Yeah, because it looks like yours are big, but it's all good. So.
Yeah, no, fake.
You know what happens, man? It's kind of like when I'm Uber driving people, and somebody in the back is like, yo, make this turn. Yeah. And I'm like, damn, dickhead, all you doing right now is telling me what it already says on the GPS.
Yeah.
I don't need you micromanaging me, fool. But anyway, to go back to it, so that's why I got all caught up in that. But it's probably fine and everything. I'm just over here. And with the lines, you can always adjust the volume. I'm acting simple. I do this.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, bro. And I got you in the headphones here too. So
you know how to say it. Okay. Anyway. I digress.
Yeah.
So growing up in Philly, I think was a really cool experience. I like Philly, but at the same time, I often go back and forth about whether or not I want to move back there. Mm-hmm. And I think that sometimes I feel like a Will Smith or a Kevin Hart, where I'll always have the heart of Philadelphia.
For sure, yeah.
I'll always identify with it. I'll always root for the teams. But at the same time, I'm not necessarily sure that that's the location I want to be. But to get back to how I was raised, I think it was a really fun environment. Growing up with the Eagles, It's a cold weather city. We're viewed as the underdogs. We're often viewed, unfortunately, as the little brothers to New York. And I think that just growing up there, it kind of gives you a bit of a chip on your
For sure, yeah.
So watching the Rocky movies growing up, and then coming out here to Pittsburgh, I think that it's been a very educational experience because it's different from Philly. Like outside of both cities starting with the letter P and both being in Pennsylvania,
Right.
they might as well be in two different states because
they're so fucking far from each other, bro.
They're so far from each other. Like Pittsburgh is weird because Pittsburgh is kind of like a Midwest city that the Midwest don't claim.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Eastern Standard Time, but the East Coast don't claim it. So Pittsburgh is kind of its own thing that just exists.
Yeah.
But yeah, to sum up, I think it was cool to be able to grow up in Philly. I think that I grew up in a household that definitely was Afrocentric, but then I think my mom, she stopped wearing cowrie shells in her braids, and then she got a little bit more religious, and then we didn't really want to go to church with her, and we would have to go to church in our pajamas if we didn't really feel like going. So,
oh damn,
I'm not sure how that answers what you.
No. That answers it. Yeah, no, that answers it. That answers it perfectly, bro. Like church in the pajamas, man. Like I would probably get about 89 clotheslines if I went to church in pajamas, bro. When I was growing up, bro. I don't know how you got that off.
We didn't want to go. And and our mom was a sign language interpreter.
Oh, okay.
So what would happen is that she would have to work and interpret the service and the songs.
Oh, damn.
And we would have to be there too. Well, she already knew our tricks and that we didn't want to go and that we didn't really put time into trying to get our clothes ready. So what she did is she just said, all right, well, in church they say come as you are. So I'm going to take y'all as you are.
Yeah, no.
We learned a valuable lesson.
Word, no. You getting these comic book pajamas, this white tee, and, we gonna praise. Yeah.
Don't want to take your coat off.
We're going to worship. Yeah.
Yeah. And then don't let it be the little girl you like at church that see you doing that dumb shit. That's just kind of like, damn, what was you?
Yeah, what was you thinking? I'm in Sunday's best. You came here in the North Face. This is, shit is all the way fucked up right now, bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
But so, like, what spurred the jump at 23 to move to Pittsburgh?
So I got accepted to grad school at Pitt.
Okay.
And I went to the University of Pittsburgh's Graduate School of Public and International Affairs, and I earned a master's in Public and International Affairs, which I kind of hate because I hate to go to the school that has and earn a degree that has the same name of the school. It's kind of like when you ask somebody to define something, and you be like,
they just use the word to define it.
Just use the word to define it, and you just be looking at it like, yeah, you stupid motherfucker. Like, that's why, good luck explaining that shit when you get into a job. And
words,
because it was like that. And it's kind of like, it really is the Graduate School for Public and International Affairs. And my master's is a master of Public and International Affairs. I could have did public policy. I could have did all this other stuff. But I decided to do that because I wanted to make life harder for me.
Where'd you get your undergrad in?
Cheney University.
Okay, word. Was that in
That's a small HBCU outside of Philly.
Okay, word.
Now, for our viewing audience here, that is actually America's oldest historically black college and university.
Okay.
Now, just really quickly, a quick educational lesson.
No, please.
The reason why we say oldest and not first is because oldest marks that we came before everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
First means you were the first ones to give out degrees.
Mm-hmm.
When our school was founded back in 1837, we were an elementary school. So we weren't
giving out degrees.
We weren't giving out degrees, so we can't really claim first. And you'll hear Lincoln, you'll hear Wilberforce, or all these other historically black colleges lay claim to being the first HBCU. So we don't even get involved in all that. Y'all can have all that first stuff. Yeah. We're just the original, and whatever y'all do after us, we're the oldest children.
Word.
Whoever, what y'all want to fight about who's the middle child or who's like that's cool, but we over here, y'all work it out and get back to us when you're ready.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a kind of like a way to separate, like themselves from that discussion. It's like, y'all are the first, sure, but we've been around, you know what I mean, for a little bit. So I don't even know what y'all are talking about right now.
Right. Absolutely.
So did you, like, even just, kind of going through undergrad, you graduate, then you get accepted to graduate, like, when did you always want to be like a podcast host, like a personality? Like, was that always like a factor, like, in your life?
I think, well, first of all, I wasn't even listening to podcasts until maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Wow, okay.
Because I remember, and the one thing I learned about women is that women tend to be so much more forward thinking than us at times.
Press.
women, when they travel, they understand that you can only listen to so much music. And I think I found that whether I'm in between Uber rides or I'm traveling out of town, it's nice to be able to hear someone talking and get lost in the conversation as opposed to always just listening to music, because that playlist that you thought was fire when you were sitting in your crib is like, yo, I wonder, yo, I ain't heard this song in a minute, man. I need to put this on a playlist.
Yeah.
And then it comes on, you like, why would I put this dumb shit in?
That don't even fit the vibe. I don't even fuck with this album like that. Like,
And then you feel like, okay, well, I could put my playlist on shuffle and it's going to be good, but then it's on shuffle. It's like,
try to switch shit up. It's more ass on shuffle. Yeah.
then I start doing manual. Like, no, I don't want to hear that. No, F that right there. No, I don't want to.
They just start manually queuing shit up. It's like, all right, let me put this shit in this order because this how I want to hear it right now.
Right, exactly. So for me, I think that I did communications in undergrad.
Yeah.
And I used to rap and do spoken word actually I did some out here, but that was about maybe 7 or 8 years ago that I was doing that. And I think that I always had this desire to be on camera, to be talking behind a microphone. We had a radio show in college, and I just right. It's hard to remember.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think that just it just kind of naturally evolved into one day in 2020 with COVID, me thinking about, well, I always wanted to have my own show, and I think that that's what led to me creating the Devyn Zoolander show, because it's something that was always in me. But it's just that I think that when you think about people maybe gatekeeping,
right,
how you can get into an industry,
spaces, right?
Yeah, but now that we could create our own platforms, it restores the power to us and gives us agency to put out the kind of stuff we want to do, and to not necessarily be relegated to doing whatever the person funding you wants you to do.
No, facts. And how did that, like, so when you decided to do that, like, what was, life looking for you at that time?
I think life was just really, it still is uncertain, but I think it was especially uncertain then. And I think that it's amazing when you can be in a state of uncertainty, but then maybe a blessing comes your way in the form of a STEMI or in the form of unemployment.
A form of a STEMI.
Yeah.
Nah, I was eating bro, the STEMI funded my move to Pittsburgh. For real, Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah. I was living in Colorado before, and had just, I was collecting STEMIs, collecting stems, got laid off due to COVID, but so like had to move back to Maryland.
Yeah.
And then, I moved to Pittsburgh January 2021.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool though. I mean, and it helped people. But now when I look back on it, even though I was able to get some equipment and some mixers and all this stuff that I got for the podcast, even though I did well with that, I still look back and think, yeah, I could have done some things differently. Like I should have taken more trips, and I mean international trips. I should have definitely done more, but it helped out. And I think around that time when you get a blessing like that financially, and you're able to also really brainstorm about what you want to do, then all it really takes is just turn on a camera and then getting some editing software and trying to see how can I be as creative as possible. And I think that it all just kind of took off from there.
Was that kind of like shocking or like surprising you, just maybe how accessible these things are than like you maybe initially thought?
Yeah, definitely. I think that growing up, you watch people on TV, you watch people making their dreams come true. And when you're not as confident in yourself, or you're always self-sabotaging, you're thinking of reasons why you can't be in the same position that these people are in, then what ends up happening is that you don't know how much is actually available to you, how immediate you can make those goals. It's not like you have to be super rich or you have to be super well connected. It can just be you have the desire to want to do it. And I think that to answer your question, I definitely discovered that at least to create the platform and be consistent with it, all I need is myself and my desire. Now, as far as elevating, that's going to be based on some other things, and how I network with people or relationships I build. But I think that for people out there that are religious, I think I used to hear growing up that God blesses those that show effort or take care of themselves. So I guess I just believe that eventually all the things that I'm doing is going to bear fruit, and that's going to make life more prosperous for me.
No, man. I mean, it just and it will. You know, I mean, just like
Yeah.
with the consistency and like, I mean, bro, like it just even from just doing my research and like just seeing what you do, like it looks like you show up, just constantly, consistently. You know what I mean? And like you're just being consistent, which is 99.9% of the fucking battle.
Yeah, you're right about that, because I think about athletes that don't feel like going to practice, but they show up, or they don't feel like going to a workout, but they show up, or they don't feel like studying film, but they show up. And even if they can halfway sleep, they're still doing it, because being a visionary is like having faith, because they say that faith is the belief in things unseen. And if only I can see it, but no one else can, then you can go one or two ways. You can either view it as the glass is half full and I see my future, or you can view it as the glass is half empty and I'm seeing ghosts. And I think that is really important for us that are visionaries to not be around people that cause us to gaslight our own abilities and feel like, oh, I can't even see anymore. I'm only seeing ghosts. I don't see a real opportunity. That's a mirage out there.
Yeah, well, not gaslighting your own abilities. God damn, that's a word right there. God.
Yeah, well, you pay attention to a couple Instagram pages and you save a couple quotes in your phone.
Right.
Man, no, that one is off the top. That one is definitely
respect.
But
There's a catalog of the quotes on the IG. Say
yeah. But that
For
one,
sure.
the way I spit it,
Yeah,
is me.
respect.
Yeah, those are my bars.
I feel it, bro. I feel it. So I know you actually began posting on YouTube about 2 years ago, right? And it wasn't necessarily like the podcast, right?
Yeah.
So how did the content that you were originally posting transition into the Zoolander and E show, and then finally into the show that you do now?
Man, you are a good researcher. Yeah, so I think that what it all started as is just me kind of talking to a camera, because at first I'm like, all right, I'm going to be a vlogger. So it was like, all right, let me do this. But when I see other vloggers, I kind of hate the whole influencer voice that people.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Back on my YouTube.
Yeah. It'll be like, yeah. So I just woke up today. I felt like scratching my balls. I did that shit. Then I went to the bathroom.
Did that shit.
Yeah. Then I answered the phone from my mom. Me and her not speaking, but we just spoke. And it'd be like, right. So anyway, I was like, no. And so I was doing those, and then I remember the E that you referred to, her name is Erica Moore.
Word.
And she's a really cool woman. And I think I was looking at all the verses back when that was happening, because that was another thing that was happening a lot during COVID.
Facts, right.
And I remember there was a matchup of Brandy and Monica, and growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, I was definitely a fan of theirs. So that was definitely one of my favorite ones to watch. So I took some notes and I put out a video about how I feel about it. And then I put it on Facebook, and E was like, oh, I got to do one of these with you next time because you got it all wrong.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, all right. That you can do it. So me and her, we talked about it, and we did a few episodes, and things were going good. But what I think I noticed is that E is someone who runs her own business. She is a professional football player for the Pittsburgh Passion, and she's a mother, and she just has a lot of things that she's already dedicated to. And I found that for me, it felt like I was kind of on my own when it came to coming up with ideas. And also, I don't blame her for that. I blame that on me, because I think that what ended up happening is that I don't like waiting for people. It's kind of like when both of you agree to go somewhere, but you're the car that has to lead the other car on how to get there.
Yeah.
And if the other car drives slow, then they're going to get lost. And if they drive slow, then that slows you down because you got to wait. And I think I got to a point where it was like, I think I want some different energy in this space. And I definitely have nothing but the utmost respect for E, because that was really the first person I could have that kind of what it would look like to be able to talk to people. But then I think shortly after, we just kind of agreed to go our separate ways. But like I said, still nothing but mad love and respect for her. And I think that the evolution in January of 2021, it became me interviewing my first. Well, actually, I interviewed someone before. I interviewed a man named Ovis, an actor that I was in My Rainey's Black Bottom with. We were both in a scene where they take a still shot of us and we're acting like we're these black people that are really struggling in the 1930s, I guess, during the Great Depression. So I interviewed him. But my first official interview, I think, oh, yeah, the question.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, being black in the 1930s the Great Depression happening, and you just black in the 30s.
Yeah. That's
so crazy.
Yeah.
That's a rough mind state to just even just pretend to be in.
That is, and the director was like, "Yeah, man, your dog just died. Your girl left you. Somebody just slapped the shit out
they
you."
get in the 30s, so
right,
action.
So right. So act like you really depressed and you just really just broken down.
Right.
I was like, I think I can channel that.
Yeah.
But my first one was really with Kelsey Watson, who was this artist, a visual artist, a painter. And I believe she lives in Erie, but she comes down to Pittsburgh every once in a while to do art shows. And it was a lot of fun. And then from there, I started interviewing more people and it just kind of snowballed. And I would say that primarily I interview black women, but I'll also interview some men here and there. But I would just say that I like being around the women more. The guys are cool, but to keep it 100, the guys don't make me moisturize. The guys don't make me put on lotion every day. The guys don't inspire me to want to smell like something. Yeah. The guys that just kind of be like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Rico? How you doing?"
Ashley dap ups.
Yeah. You don't care, but with them, it's different. So I like that energy. But I also have interviewed a couple white people, including someone who told
a few.
Yeah, just a few. So one I was like, "So you're white?" She was like, I'm Italian." And the next one, "So you're white?" "No, I'm Sicilian." It's like, all right. and then a couple brothers. So I would say out of 107 interviews or however many it is, it's probably been maybe 90 black women or maybe 95 black women. Maybe it's been like 7 or 8 black dudes, and then it's been a couple white people that like to do this shit. I don't know. They raising the roof. Shit.
Yo, that's hilarious. Nah, that intro question. So, you're right. Yeah.
Like, the one time I interviewed a woman who was racially ambiguous. She's black and white.
Okay.
But she was really fair skinned, and I actually kind of did her. I won't say I did her dirty, but I didn't prepare her for a question I was going to ask her. I asked her about how has your appearance impacted your life? And I guess that was a trigger for her because she actually shed a couple tears. It didn't last long, but it was just a couple. And it just lets me know that you don't know what people are going through, and that you can ask a question that for you is really innocent.
Yeah,
for them, it sends them through a bunch of different thoughts.
Nah, man. So like, how do you usually go about like do you usually prep your guests for like questions like you're about to ask them? Do you like, hey, like I'm about to ask this, like, is this okay? Or do you just
sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll be like, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, fair.
Because I be getting stressed out because I think with me when it comes to this, and I don't know if I've ever worked this hard on anything in my life, but when it comes to this, the Devyn Zoolander show, I am a worker and I'm relentless and I want to get this stuff out, which is why I think it's a good thing because I'm a hard worker and people are going to get content. But sometimes it can be to my detriment if I'm really not taking a second to breathe and reading the room a little bit better because I'm Googling all the time. When is the best time to post on Instagram or TikTok or something? Because I'm trying to get the most amount of people to see it. But sometimes it's not the time you post it. Sometimes people
just what you post.
Yeah, it's just they identify with it or they don't. And I just think with the guest, I try my best to give them, if they really, there are times where I type out all these questions and everything, but then there are other times when I tell them a theme that I want to talk about, but we just go from there. And I think that it reminds me of Tamron Hall because I remember Tamron Hall with her talk show, and she did an interview with Larsa I think it was Larsa Pippen.
Oh yeah, like that, like just what was like a couple months ago.
Yeah, and Marcus Jordan, Michael Jordan's son, Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
Yeah.
And it's already weird. Everybody knows that it's a weird relationship.
Facts. Right.
So Tamron is asking some probing questions, but when she saw the interview, Larsa, she was like, yeah, I felt like I got bullied and this wasn't right. And Tamron was like, look, this is how it goes. I'm a journalist. If I send you every single question ahead of time, it's not an interview, it's a PR stunt.
Right, yeah.
So it's kind of like sometimes people like, you didn't send me questions, but you didn't have to because I've seen what you do already and I don't really need to do all that. If we're talking about me, then it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, facts.
And you're only talking about stuff that's already put out there. You're not talking about a rumor. You're not talking about something that you think might be true about me. You're going off of, oh, Zoolander and E. Where did you get that from?
Yeah.
Maybe because I posted a video called Zoolander and E.
Right, yeah.
Watched it.
Facts.
But some of these people, though, they'll talk all day and all night on Facebook, and then when you ask them about stuff, oh, I didn't know we were going to talk about that.
Like, nigga, like, what the fuck you think you about to talk about?
It's not hidden. So,
right.
So to come full circle with your question, I try my best to give them, if they need clarity, then I will, or they specifically request questions, because some of these people are really nervous, and I'll be like, yo, I'm recording a show in my dining room right now. They used to have a dining room table.
Right.
And I just put up 3 photography backdrops and some lights and some microphones. It's really not that deep, but it's something about when these LEDs hit people.
Yeah, when
they start thinking and they start tripping.
Yeah, no, that's that LED hallucination. Like it's just the whole different scene. And like, yeah, like I mean, people have definitely like, come to say, oh my God, like I'm so nervous. I'm just like, yo, there was literally no, like, if there's anything in your life that you should be nervous for, it is this. Like you're just talking about yourself, just talking about your life. Like, well, I'm like, and just even with that being said, right, I do know it's a bit jarring for some people to just like talk about their life just in front of a camera. Like that just at face value is, just like a bit of a junk, situation to be in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately it's just like, I'm not no fucking like, you're not on trial or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, I'm just having a conversation with
Right, this ain't Vlad TV
type shit. You know what I mean?
Like, you should have confessed whatever crime you committed before you came in here.
So you shot him how many times?
Yeah, exactly.
With the right hand, you said, okay, interesting about that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know you done fucked it. Right. Be like that. Right.
We got him, guys. We got it.
Yeah, we got him.
We got him. Nah, man. So did Zoolander Drive, which by the way, like I fucking love that name, bro. So like, did Zoolander Drive just come up as a way of just like you housing your own podcast for you to record, and then you opened it up to other people, or did you want to open up to other people initially, and then you're just like, all right, like I can also just use it as my recording space for my podcast?
Well, I think initially I needed to come up with a name, because what used to happen is whenever I'd be like, yo, what's up? It's your homie, Devyn Zoolander, coming all the way live. So what used to happen is I used to say nine is my favorite number, because when I became an alpha at Cheney University, I was a number 9 on the line. So and because I didn't really play a lot of sports, that was the closest thing I had to a jersey number. So 9 was my thing, and I was trying to kick around what names to call the studio. So I was like, yo, what's up? It's your homie, Devyn Zoolander, coming all the way live from Studio 9. But then when I kept saying it, I was like, Studio 9 is cool, but I need something that plays into this zoo and Zoolander thing. So I would say like Zoolander Drive, but I was like the Zoolander, like the at the end. Devyn Zoolander sounds cool, but the Zoolander Drive thing, so you just take off the ER and call it Zooland and Zoolander Drive. And it was initially so I could have something cool to say when I would be introing my podcast, but also I think it later became a place where I could work with people on producing theirs. Now, the only thing is I've only really done it for about 2 people, because what happens is I'm still working on my business acumen, and I don't care how many times you say, I've said literally, if you go to the page, there's a part where I'll be like, you can get a free 15-minute podcast where you can have 3 different camera angles. You can get this amount of graphics to post on Instagram. You can get the audio to upload to your podcast platforms. And all I ask is that you just tag me. You post it on Instagram and you tag me in it, and you tell people that if they book with me, then I'll give them 25% off. I don't know how much more easier I can make it than that. And and I posted it on the Zoolander Drive page, and I posted it on my Devyn Zoolander page, and nobody really took advantage of it. And it's just like, so right now I've had my one friend who's a real estate agent, and we did about 5 episodes, and that was good. And I had a woman I was working with before, but we had some creative differences, so we had to end our professional relationship. But it's really just been them two, and I want it to be somewhere that can give me some more income so I can stay off these Uber streets, because I think people, when they get in the car, they'll be like, so, buddy, do you like driving for Uber? And I'll be like, yeah, it's cool. And they'll be like, yeah, busy out today for you? Like, yeah, it's busy. Is it busy for you on the road where other cars are that are driving and you're driving all day? Is it busy for you? Yes. And then they'll be like, oh, all right. Pay good? And you just be like, it's cool. And they be like, right. Yeah, I'm just like, all right. Like it is what it is. It's a job. It's nothing to write home about.
Facts.
Yeah.
So you think that like 15 minutes is like too short, that like maybe people aren't taking advantage of it, or like what do you think maybe is the disconnect that, like, you know, people aren't utilizing? If
I think it's really being able to communicate that you're doing this for real. And I think that when you're a fun-loving person, you have an easygoing personality, and people always know you as, oh, the dude that likes to dance in Michael Jackson at the party, or the dude that whatever they think about me, or something like that. Because I am an easygoing guy. I do like Michael Jackson music, but at the same right. I mean, these are facts. At the same time, though, I think that sometimes people, they want to hold you to something. And
it's like a certain box, or like a certain facts.
And I don't know if nostalgize is a word, but it's like they want to keep you in a certain,
in like the space where like they feel comfortable knowing you.
Right. But it reminds me of a quote I heard Queen Latifah say in this, when she was playing, I think Bessie Smith, I think was the name of the singer, and she said, she was talking about white people. She said white people will let you get big but not too close, or they'll let you get close but not too big. So it's like, you got to, that's kind of how I feel it is sometimes with people, the way they view me. Because to me, if it was me and my homie was doing something, and I know that they are a nerd, they are obsessed, they do this every day, and they could do something for free for me, then to me, the only reason why I said 15 minutes also is because editing 3 different camera angles, making into one, it's a lot, and it's time consuming. And to me, that was messing with my output, because I couldn't put out as much, because I love the people that do the visual podcasts, and they got everything is up there. So they have the whole thing. But for me, if I'm doing multiple camera angles and I want to make it look a certain way, and I have ideas about sound effects and all these different things for the transitions, then I don't need to be sitting here doing this for y'all for an hour if
facts.
I'm not even sure y'all gonna watch it. Now, maybe after the short videos, I'll have the established audience, and the demand is there, and then, you know, you get the Patreon and you put stuff on there, and you be like, well, if you want to see the rest, you check this out. But for right now, I still got to Uber every day just to keep the lights on. I'm not doing it.
Nah, facts.
So to bring it full circle, I would say that.
Right.
Oh, right. To bring it full circle, I guess I could make it 30 minutes, but to me, I just think that people see things and they kind of see me having fun, but they might not read the caption, and it might just be, or here's another thing too. I think sometimes there's this curse of when your stuff looks too good. Not saying that my stuff looks too good, but if people think a certain thing about it, that I'm at a certain level that I'm really not. It's kind of like when you have a friend that is featured in a movie and you think they're rich. They're not rich. They just got a really good opportunity. They still, you see with the current actors and writers strike and everything like that, these people that have their projects shelved, like I just saw Billy Porter talking about how I had a television show in a couple movies, and now because they're not coming out, I have to sell my house.
Crazy.
But because he's Billy Porter and he's on all the award shows, and people are like, oh yeah, well, he's doing well. And I think that similarly to on a smaller scale, I think some people see me, well, you got the graphics, well, you got this, well, you got that.
Well, you need me with
somebody's already.
What else do you need? Right, yeah.
It's like, no, I need it too. But my thing is, I want to do it in a way that if a network or whoever has money wants to invest in it, they can at least see the direction and see that I'm taking it serious.
Facts, nah.
So I guess people just need to, I got to make them take me more seriously. But I think the other thing is that people don't view podcasts or a lot of this stuff that we do as a real job. And that's also part of the reason why I created the show and why I used to say the show that features people that don't have real jobs. Now I say the show that features people with creative careers, because I think that when you do something that feels like it's a child's game or it feels like it's just not as significant as somebody else's work, then it's easier for people to shit on it and not take it seriously. And then when you ask for help, their only advice is maybe you should find another line of work.
Nah, bro, facts. And just even speaking to, like, you know, what you were saying, I think that it's almost like a bystander effect that you just see in the creative realm, right? Because like if you see someone, it's like, okay, like, yeah, he got the graphics, looks like he you know, he got good lighting, he got good. Oh, maybe I don't have to link him with this, you know, connection. Like it seems like he's doing, you know, well on his own, and he's probably gonna get there, you know, like soon. Like if I don't help him, like the next person who could, you know, maybe do something for you, or just like, you know, something like you could potentially build a professional relationship with, like they want help because they think it's like, oh, he got it. When it's like, nah, bro, like feel free to, like, you know, help link, like, you know what I mean? Like this is like, you know, like this ain't like, I don't got no one right now, you know what I mean? It's just like people will just like make presumptions just off what they think, you know, just off of, you know, social media.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because I think what it is that people love to comment. They love to say, "I see you working, bro."
That like they want to be like adjacent to like the success of it all and like the appearance of it all, and let's, like, you know, kind of get under a comment section and be like,
right. That's what they'll do. They'll do the bare minimum, or they want to temper their support. So that
right.
Fail, they don't look like they invested in something
Facts
that didn't work out. But if you succeed, then as long as I sit
oh yeah, no, I've always been there.
Right.
Yeah, facts.
And for me, I don't need all that, because it's kind of like when somebody says, I remember there was a friend of mine one time that posted that he just felt like fading away, and he didn't provide any other context. He didn't say fade away from social media. He didn't say fade away from whatever. And when somebody says something like that in the times that we're living in, that concerned me. So I reached out to him directly in his inbox. I was like, yo, you all right? I just saw your status about fading away. He was like, I'm good. I'm just overwhelmed right now. I was like, I hear you, man. It's tough, but I hope that you get some relief soon. And he said, thank you, man. I appreciate you reaching out. And that's all it is, because to me, anybody can say happy birthday on somebody's wall just because.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Anybody can say sorry for your loss, just like everybody else already said condolences, sorry for your loss. Man, my heart goes out to you. I'm here for you, man. Everybody, it's easy to say I'm here for you, but it's hard to actually go and go to the person directly and be like, yo, no, F all this social media stuff. What do you need? What do you need, dog? Like, you need me right now. What you doing? I'm coming over right now. It's something like that. And people really don't have that kind of energy, because I think there's an insecurity that lies in them that they try to push to the back of their subconscious, but it's really actually at the forefront of their minds, and they can't really give you too much, because to give you too much feels like they're not pouring into themselves. But if only they understood that we are multifaceted and we're talented, and we have the capacity, or we should have the capacity, or work on developing the capacity to be able to acknowledge when someone else is doing something great that we care about or that we like, but while also not neglecting to pour back into our own cups so that we can be successful. But I think people, they just, unfortunately, they like to support you from the
one foot in, one foot out.
Yeah, or they want to be up in the skybox or something like that. But you'll always remember the people that was with you in the trenches.
No, absolutely, bro. And just kind of flipping back. So, like, how did you come up with the last name Zoolander? Like, for that movie?
Yeah. So definitely took from the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't see Zoolander until I was, so I'm 37 now. Maybe I was 35 or 34.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I didn't see it when it originally came out. Somehow I missed that wave. And when it did come out, I was like, all right, whatever. Then when I watched it as an adult, I was like, yo, this is terrible. This movie is awful. I don't even know how this got made.
Yeah.
But I think what it is that I have my own personal philosophy that the letters Q, X, and Z are some of the most powerful letters in the alphabet.
Mm.
Because first of all, if you go to Scrabble and you have a Q, X, or a Z, those are
10 points.
those are the letters that are worth the most. Also, I feel like Q, X, and Z are powerful because if you just say those initials by themselves, then they just hit differently. Like obviously, we know about the late great Earl Simmons who passed away a couple years ago, better known as DMX, and we know that his full name is DMX. But it's something about when you say like, man, X passed. X just hits differently. So to me, you can be Xavier. You can be, I can't think of a bunch of names that start with X.
Yeah, right.
But still, I know
Xerxes.
yeah, whatever. But you get xylophone. Like,
Word, yeah, facts.
start running out of names, so you just say anything that start with
Word.
But
X-ray. Like.
right, X-ray, right. I thought that was my man's X-ray.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with X and then with Q, like Quincy Jones, like yo, dog, Q is the man, or Q from Juice, right? So but played by Omar Epps,
Facts.
or Z. I think of Zorro, or I think of Zion Williamson, trying to avoid crazy strippers on Holy.
As we all are.
As we all are. Not yeah. But the nice ones on OnlyFans. Anyway, I feel like share too much. But I felt like Q, X, and Z, those are the letters that have presence to them. So I needed to pick a name that I settled on Z. And I think Zoolander is really cool because I saw it as, I don't know anybody else outside that movie that calls themselves that.
Right.
And for me, I just felt like I need that name because nobody else wants it. I can make it my own. I mean, I still eventually got to get together with trademark and copyright and all that kind of stuff because right now I'm just kind of free flowing out here.
Yeah, right.
Eventually I'll be making some money and I want to protect my name. But the good thing I can say is that there's a long track record of me being Devyn Zoolander. And I think that, I'm not saying that I know stuff will hold up in court because I'm not a lawyer,
right?
But I do think that I'll be able to demonstrate that this is associated with me for a while. So if anyone just tries to do that and they actually sound just like me or they say different words I say on the show, then it's like, you know, he did.
Yeah, right.
You know, he bite. You know, that's copyright infringement, right?
Yeah, right?
So it'd be like that. So Zoolander really came from the movie and also me wanting a name that I felt like I needed. So I feel like this. Some people, they have connections and money. So take Michael Jackson, for example. The name Michael Jackson really isn't that creative. There's nothing special about Michael Jackson. He is special. So because he was special, he was able to make the name Michael Jackson special. For me, I already know I'm special, but it's one of those things where I don't have a Motown or I don't have this other record label that's going to push me right now. So I need a name that gets to a room before I ever get there. And to me, Zoolander does that because I used to call myself Devyn Styles. Even though I was never the big fashion guy, I used to care a little bit more before I started Ubering. Yeah. That shit went to hell. But see, I don't give a damn what we're around. But back when I was really trying to coordinate and put stuff together, I would call myself Devyn Styles. But the only thing about it, kind of like Michael Jackson, if you hear like, yo, that's Devyn Styles, it's a safe name. It's cool. But to me, it doesn't really
jump off the page.
Yeah, it doesn't really garner intrigue like that. But Zoolander, I needed a name that said, what the F is that? Yeah, right. Something that said, yo, what kind of weird shit? What is that? And I needed that, and that's how I chose Zoolander.
Okay, nah, man, I think it's a great, like, I think that just, rolls off the tongue, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's funny because it didn't at first, like, if you look at the old videos, it used to be like, yo, what's up? It's your boy, Devyn Styles, a.k.a. Nerd Boy, a.k.a. Devyn Zoolander, a.k.a. Dark Skin Pretty Boy, a.k.a. What did I say? Oh, the Slim, what did I call myself? The Slim Reaper. I call myself a whole bunch of stupid stuff. And somebody said, like, yo, dog, you should stop saying all those names. They're like, all right, I just be Devyn Zoolander.
Yeah, word. Nah, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
What stuff you a nerd about? Like, where do you went to?
It's funny because whenever I text that to a woman on Hinge, I get unmatched.
Oh, shit.
So, no, the funny shit, though, is when you Uber and you see somebody that kind of look all right and you verify, make sure she's above age first.
Right.
And then it's like you start talking to her and you be like, yeah. So we want to take this left right here. Yeah. Do you think we should take the Parkway or should we go straight on Penn Avenue? Yeah. I think we should try Penn Avenue. Yeah. So what are you into?
Yeah.
For some reason, that just doesn't.
Yeah, no, it doesn't land.
Doesn't
like
land.
it should for whatever reason.
The only way it can land is if the laugh is quick and not creepy.
Yeah. So, what do you do? What do you like to do? Left, right here, right? Yeah. No. So yeah, what's up?
Some shit like that, and then you have the stupid decision to look back at them directly in their eye. What are you into, ma'am? Then it'll just be like, all right. But anyway, I guess to answer your question,
Nigga crash like, yo. So what are you into? Run a whole red light.
Yeah,
He's trying to vibe.
right. He just trying to get some ass.
Yeah.
Somebody he can walk around like Alvin and love don't cost a thing and be like, oh yeah, right there. She with me, dog.
Yeah, it's funny as hell.
How come y'all don't do PDA? Me and my lady, we don't get into all this.
Yeah, she's not really into that. But behind closed doors, just know.
Right. She's hurt. But anyway, I would say that I think I'm a nerd. I think I'm a nerd about music. And what I mean about music is that I really appreciate back when people used to read the linear notes on the albums, and I think seeing who produced this and who wrote this. Like recently, I was talking with an Uber passenger because somebody started this topic on Black Twitter talking about is who's the better performer between Michael Jackson and Beyonce. And I just think that I don't know why we can't just say Beyonce is great.
Facts.
And leave it at that.
Facts.
You don't need to bring up Michael, but
There's no need to compare them. I mean, because like Michael as a performer, bro, is like he was galaxies above anyone in his time, and just entertainers at large, bro. Like he's just like he is the bar for performance. You know what I mean? And like you said, like it's not that Beyonce is like her performances are a spectacle. They're like an event.
Right.
But who's performing like Michael? Like maybe Chris Brown is like as far as like the actual ability to dance. Okay, sure, he's like close-ish, but he's not like Mike. Like you know what I mean? It's just like
so not for him. The music isn't there, and I just think that Mike.
Well,
keep forgetting.
No, you
I think that when you look at Mike, because the thing about Mike, the reason why it's not fair to compare somebody to Mike is because Mike can just use his Jackson 5 career. He doesn't even you don't understand with Mike is the Jacksons with Jermaine Jackson as that guy as the fifth one, and then it's the Jacksons, the Jackson 5, then the Jacksons when they left Motown, and then there's Michael Jackson. So
crazy. He's been famous like his whole life.
Right. So you're talking about 40 years. 3 different careers, 3 different primes. And as great as Beyonce is, because Destiny's Child was great, and Beyonce is great, I just feel like, to me, I wouldn't say she's a better dancer. Then somebody tried to say she's a better vocalist. I was like, nah, I can't really give you that either, because to me, I feel like she's talented. She's very talented. But I feel like with Mike, when I'm thinking vocally, what people can do, Mike and Prince,
yeah, facts.
They're just different. And if we're just talking about vocals, and that's the thing about it. I think Beyonce, the reason why the comparisons get made is because she has that fame. She's kind of a one of one, and she isn't really rivaled. Although I would say that not as a performer, but as far as in star power, I would say Rihanna, and then if you want to include the whites, Taylor Swift. But I don't think Taylor Swift is as talented as Beyonce. But I would say as far as that, just that
the reach.
Yeah, the reach is up there. But with Mike, though, Mike was just really, really different, because I think that it's just hard to describe. But it was like, I never look at Beyonce's dancing and I say that was magical.
No.
I say that she's on beat. I say that it looks good. But with Mike, like there's not.
Mike don't it didn't have really Mike had choreography,
right?
But then he would break away from that and just do some ill shit. That's you didn't you just busted that out right there. Again, not to say Beyonce has never done that. You know what I mean? But it's just a different again, when it comes to performance, bro, there's very few people that are even in the same vein as Mike. You know what I mean? So it's not I think it's doing Beyonce a disservice to even compare her to Mike.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair, and I think. So that's an example of something that I'm a nerd about.
Okay.
And I think on top of that, I think people will notice when they look at my page or they watch my stories, I follow a lot of throwback R&B and hip hop pages, and I think that I'm a nerd about a lot of that kind of stuff and just culture, because just yesterday I posted a clip from Boy Meets World just because that was one of my favorite shows growing up.
Facts.
And I think that's just what it is. It's kind of things about culture. But the funny thing is, sometimes when you say you a nerd, but you get around the nerds, then they be like,
They be trying to check your nerd card, right? Yeah, right.
Hey, you don't like Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Or they'll be like, you're not a gamer,
Yeah, right.
or I don't know. They'll say all kinds of stuff.
Nah,
be like,
bro, yeah.
hey, I'm not that. Like,
Just try to gatekeep like the whole vibe and shit. Like,
yeah. And then you got these people that call themselves blurs. I don't get into all that weird shit because I get it. You're a black nerd. I get it. But no, I'm not with that shit. And also because I think that growing up, I had bifocals in the 6th grade, and they used to say that I look like Urkel or something, which happened to all of us that was dark skinned, skinny, and we got
yeah, they just threw Urkels. Oh yeah,
yeah, that's just what it was. And I mean, I would much rather be Dwayne Wayne, but unfortunately, Dwayne Wayne came out when I was born.
Yeah, right.
So I couldn't really be him.
Couldn't match up, dog. That's fucking hilarious. So like, how did you find initially like your guests? Was it just like maybe like people that you knew? Did you already like kind of build this network prior? Like,
I think it was a combination of people that I already knew, but a lot of people is just I look at their Instagram page and I see if they would be somebody I think would be a good fit on the show. And I mean, sometimes it's just a moment of, damn, word? Nah, the worst thing.
Let's dig deeper.
Yeah. The worst thing, you don't say it out loud, but the worst thing is when you be thinking in your head some dumb shit like, are those real?
This nigga's
It's just bad. Nah, because sometimes I look back on some of my shows and I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have had this person up there because I think this was just for me. This was completely self-serving. It wasn't, because I interviewed a woman recently who I won't say anything. I'll just say that she works in education, but she also has an OnlyFans account, but she doesn't promote the OnlyFans account. But anybody that goes to her page can see that, well, what you post kind of looks like softcore porn.
Right.
I'm not shaming any sex workers. Get your money. But I think this whole idea of wanting to be low, but not really being low all the way through is really interesting to me, because I think back to what the kids used to say to me back in the day while I was a sub at Westinghouse. You're not low.
Yeah.
Like, you're not. You think you're low. You're not low.
Right,
You don't know what you're doing.
Facts.
So it's whatever. But yeah, I think it's just a combination of friends that I already knew, people that I might have maybe 1 degree of separation with somebody else that can act like the liaison and be like, yeah, you should definitely do that
type shit, right.
And I think that, like I said, primarily black women, but I'm open to interviewing anyone. It's just that I think that there are a lot of podcasts that bash black women. There's a lot of them that really stoke the fire of gender wars.
Yeah, right, sure.
We already got enough of that kind of content. So
who should pay for the date?
Right.
Like, yeah, shut the fuck up.
They'll be doing this over and over again. And then what gets annoying too is that, you'll hear some guys, they'll be like, all right, so you don't like gender roles, do you? Okay, sister, check this out. So if you hear a noise downstairs and one of us has to go check on it, who do you expect to do that? Obviously, we're saying, the guys that say that are saying that because they want you to be like the man, because the men, we're usually physically stronger and we're supposed to be the protectors and all that stuff. And I get that. But I remember there's this one influencer that I follow. Her name is Sydney Rosen. And she said that if someone has a gun and they're downstairs, I don't want either one of us going down there to figure out what's going on. Or if anything, if we got a bet or something, we both trying to figure it out. But I think that sometimes with this hypermasculinity and these gender roles that we insist on living in, we just kind of push men to early graves because we say, you should fight for my honor. Now, my thing is, if I'm with you, somebody does something while I'm with you, while I'm right there, then that's different. And yeah, I got to step up. Maybe if it's not necessarily a fight, it's at least me getting in somebody's face, like letting them know, yo, that's not cool, man. Trying to get an apology, something like that. But if it's a certain situation where it's like, somebody called you a bitch while you was walking down the street and you telling me about it, but it's already done happened, then it's like I can be there for you. I feel like at that point I can be there for you emotionally, but I can't do anything as far as try to go find the dude that said that. Like, what's done is done. I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm here for you. Men shouldn't talk that way about women. Whatever else you need. Do you want to read a book? Do you need a massage?
You said read a book.
Do you need your favorite food? But I think that
Egg whites.
right, something, whatever you're into, whatever your fancy is. But I feel like, to me, I get tired of us saying, when people like P&B Rock or Takeoff or Pop Smoke, whoever you want to name, I get tired of when we see these people pass away or get murdered. I get tired of us saying right after, black men deserve to grow old. But then sometimes, and I'm not blaming women because this is co-created, because men men perpetuate that hyper toxic masculinity at times, and women do it too when they have certain expectations of you that are just really unfair and unrealistic. Because I'm not saying that a man shouldn't be willing to defend his woman's honor, but at the same time, though, we got to be able to assess the difference between what is a perceived threat and what is a real threat. Because to me, a real threat is somebody is right in front of our face and we can't go anywhere. We're going to have to fight our way out of this. A perceived threat or an inconvenience, while I don't agree with anybody disrespecting women or anything like that, but at the same token, though, it can't always be go out there and fight like cats and dogs in the streets. I feel like with men, we see men pass away, especially black men. We see us dying all the time. And it's like, we're really serious about keeping us alive. Then we need to stop perpetuating these harmful stereotypes and expectations that tell us to go out there and risk our lives.
Not for sure, bro. So I got, just like winding down here, I got one last question for you, bro. So like, what do you think has kept you consistent thus far? Like, just like, what factors, what internally has kept you consistent?
I think it's a number of things. I think part of it is restlessness, maybe a little bit anxiety, maybe a little bit of fear, because in trying to eventually maybe one day have a wife and maybe have children, and I say maybe because I actually did a video about why I'm not quite sure, because I am 37, which isn't old at all, and people have children at all types of ages, but I was a late bloomer, and I feel like I'm still living. Not saying that kids stop you from living, but they do alter the way that your life is going to go.
Sure.
And I want to feel like I hit a couple more pinnacles, and I got to have a woman that's in my life that's actually a real possibility. But as far as staying consistent, I think it's the fear of living a life that is unfulfilled. I think it's the fear of not being as creative as I'm supposed to be. And then one day when my number is called and I pass away, all people are going to say is, well, he was born here. He went to this school. He graduated. He did this job. He moved to Pittsburgh. He did this. And it's like, yo, I don't want that bullet point shit. I want people to see that he did this show and he tried every day to give back to people and make it as good as possible. And that was his legacy. And I think that's another reason. I think having something that is legacy defining, and I think that's what keeps me consistent, because I can't stop. I think even though I get frustrated with the process, I think I love the process. I think when you love the process, I think that helps you to maintain your consistency.
Nah, bro, facts. And I completely agree, man. So, bro, Devyn, thank you so much for joining us, my nigga, bro. I fucking love this conversation, man. This was fucking super dope, bro. So this is the point in the pod, man, where, if you got anything coming out, any new episodes, anything you're working on, man, where they can find you on socials, plug away, man. But again, man, thank you so much for taking the time, bro.
No problem. Well, this has been a wonderful interview here with my homie right here, Toby, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, just making sure I got that correct. All right, that's right. The DMs do work. So, just to let you all know, my name is Devyn Zoolander. You can find me on all social media platforms as Devyn Zoolander. That's spelled DEVYN ZOOLANDER. They call me Devyn Zoolander. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I look good on camera. You know I look good on camera. You can catch me on TikTok. You can catch me on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and at your mom's house. And yeah, and as far as what's coming out, just stay tuned. Got some episodes that I'm working on. Hopefully they all work out, you know, because sometimes when you're dealing with beautiful women, they make you wait a little bit. And be like, I don't know, can you do this? Okay, could we record in a tree? Could we record in a basement? I got to pick up my son. I don't want to hear all that shit. But hopefully when all that stuff gets done, then I'll have some more episodes, but I'm going to continue. One thing I didn't say during the interview, and I promise you we're done, is that I also do the vlogs too to supplement whenever I'm not interviewing someone, because I got to keep the channel living and breathing. I got to feed the streets.
Right.
So I have some vlogs that I got, and one vlog that I just recorded earlier today before I came to do this podcast was one about laundromat etiquette that I think is kind of funny. And I also have another one that I did about this black Uber passenger. She told me to turn down Erykah Badu's music, and it was only on 15, and my volume goes all the way to 40.
Yeah.
And she told me to turn it down. So got a couple more vlogs like that. So just stay tuned, and I promise you, you won't be sorry.
Devyn, my man, thank you so much for joining us, bro. This is MIC Podcast, man. Episode 98, community content. You get it all here, and we're out, bro. Peace.
Peace.